G'day and welcome back for more of my grand tour. And I made it back. Wasn't elegant, but I made it. Let's get this connector up, get that battery charged and get some extra batteries on there, get some extra wind turbines to charge it even faster. Because I'm not sure that I'm going to get that much benefit out of solar panels. So I'd like to get my batteries charged up quickly. I suppose I could use hydrogen engines. I do have a fair bit of snow around me, so that could work. It's an option, I guess. I would have to keep mining for them, though. Might think about that in space. One of the things I'm going to have to make sure I do is make sure that this thing has enough power to survive until I next get on to play. Because if it runs out of power, it'll get deleted. Which is obviously not ideal. But I'll have to make sure I've got at least a few days, preferably around a week of power before I finish for today. Where can I pop a couple of extra batteries? Need access to that bit. Could grind out this middle bit and pop it in there though. I don't really have room for everything that I want for this thing to not end up hideous, but I guess that's how it's going to be. It's going to be ugly. Get those two on there, maybe build another bunch of turbines. How quickly is this thing charging? Fully recharged in 2 hours. That's ages. That's too slow. Should have enough materials to build a whole bunch of wind turbines. Maybe even get this down to like a half an hour charge time. Would be nice. Especially since I'm going to be going out and back and collecting more materials with this thing. Now we shouldn't run out of power. Should be able to use all of my thrusters all the time. Could also probably add some forward and reverse thrusters on each of those batteries so that I've got even more forward and backwards. Or at least some reverse thrust, because the main thing I tend to do when I'm getting uneven with a drill ship is lean it forward. So reverse thrust tends to be more critical than forward. At least now, if I get any whiff of someone coming along and getting nearby, I can bug out with something that's got a decent amount of progress on it, so I won't be starting purely from scratch if I can get away with this thing, which, you know, is a fairly big if. Because the likelihood of me noticing someone who's trying not to be noticed is pretty small. So with this turbine, I'm going with what I feel is one of the more efficient designs you can go for. So a cross design up like this. You pop each turbine on each point and you'll get 5 turbines in a fairly compact area. Haven't really come up with a design that's more efficient space-wise than this as yet. And it's fairly quick to whip this together. I think I've placed these potentially too close together though. But, oh well. One of the things I'm going to hope to find in space is some uranium. It would be very, very useful in this scenario to get some reactors up, since power is really there to keep my stuff present until I get back. And I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do that with basic renewable power supplies. Although I might be able to. The risk of that, though, is if I'm in space, I need to use solar panels, which means I also need to be exposed. I can't just be sitting around hidden in an asteroid in a nice dark spot. I'll actually have to be out in the open. Right, now that we're up to 8 turbines, how are we looking power-wise with these batteries? Fully recharged in 49 minutes. So the current input is 962 kilowatts. I can still substantially increase that, so I'm going to go for another wind turbine tower. So I could probably... What do I need resource-wise? Oh, that's... Dang it. Oh, I should have built the ejector system on here first before I went and ordered up all these turbines. So I'm going to need a stone ejector system. Oh, I'm out of nickel. Alright. Time to go off mining. I will do the stone ejector system when I get back from that. I cannot do it right now. What the... Why did you drop? You shouldn't drop. Got more than enough thrust. And you've got more than enough power now. Why are you behaving like your inertial dampeners are off? It's very strange. I'm suspecting that's a little bit of lag giving me that feeling like it's dropping. Although right now it is dropping. I'm fully boosting, but you're still dropping. What are you doing to me, vehicle? What is going on? What the heck is going on? You had more than enough thrust to lift off. What? What? Oh, what is going on? That is broken. That is so broken. Oh, man. I have enough thrust with one thruster to lift. This is behaving like I've got a subgrid on here somewhere. That's weird. Oh, man. That's not good. Well, that just cost me a whole thruster. That's great. So I was trying to speed down the hill just before, in the hope that I would be able to get out in the open and get away from the cliffside, and that whatever lag-related shenanigans were going on would stop before I crashed into the ground, but it did not work, and it looks like it's not going to work this time. Oh, what is going on? My inertial dampeners don't work. As soon as I try and move forward, I'm level. I can easily ascend. This is 100% behaving like I've got a subgrid somewhere in here. And I don't. I have no subgrid. No rotors, no pistons. There should be no shenanigans. I'm also not elevated enough that this should be a problem either. Because if it was a problem, then I shouldn't be able to fly around here at all. I call shenanigans. But this is kind of what I wanted to play on the public servers for. I wanted to see what the experience was like. I wanted to see what troubles you ran into that, for a new player, it's going to be very difficult to know isn't something they're doing wrong. Whereas I can be fairly confident, given the thousands of hours I've played in this, that what just happened then? That's not normal. That's not right. It shouldn't do that. I should not have to worry about flying. If it worked before, it should continue to work, and that's all I'm going to collect, I think. How much have I got? Yeah, 11,000. That's all. I'm going to be taking this safely. Realize that I still didn't make a GPS back at my base. Look at this. I'm easily flying with half as much thrust as I had before. That crash should not have happened. Oh, there is nothing I can do about it. I just have to keep going and take that on the chin. Ah, dear. I was kind of hoping that I wouldn't run into too much stuff like that. In that I was hoping that stuff like that wasn't a big issue anymore. But I'm quite glad that I have run into it, if it is an issue for other people as well. Oh no, 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 no. Drills first, drills first. I was quite lucky that all I lost was a thruster, really. That easily could have destroyed my entire ship and my survival kit with it, which would have been very disappointing. That's not a bug I would ever experience in single player. And if you're playing multiplayer with, say, just one friend and they're hosting it locally, one of the nice things you can do is just press Alt F10, enable creative mode, and just repaste in their ship. Because that'll often fix bugs like that. But I don't have that option here. I just got a deal. So I'm kind of liking not having those crutches available to me to fix these things and just seeing how frustrated I might end up. Oh yeah, 2.2 megawatts of input into each battery. That's what I'm talking about. That's much better. Okay, thruster complete. Now, attempt number 2 of flying this and hopefully not crashing this time. What is with you? G'day, this is Editor Splitsie talking, because live recorded Splitsie might have gotten a little sidetracked here. I spent a long time trying to figure out if there was a way that I could fix this problem without using creative mode tools to copy and paste the grid. I tried attaching it to the base via a rotor. So in theory, when I disconnect from that and become a separate grid again, then might be able to do nothing again. I tried grinding off parts of it, I tried turning bits on and off, I tried reconnecting to the server, I tried quite a few things and none of them worked. I've heard talk that there is a potential solution to this problem, which, if it arises again, I want to try out. And that potential solution is to build an additional part to your ship that contains more blocks than the ship itself. Then grind that off That way, when you disconnect your ship from that chunk of blocks, the server deals with the ship as a brand new ship, which may resolve your issues. Give it a go if you happen to have luck with that. I'd love to hear back and know that it does work. And then next time this happens, I'll demonstrate it for everyone. And now let's jump about half an hour ahead to where I finally stopped trying this, ground the thing down, and started planning my true escape to space. Oh, at least I can build a purpose-built launch vehicle for space. So I'm going to abandon that vehicle, I'm going to grind everything off it and rebuild something from scratch. It should get me to space, taking with me everything that I have from here. And hopefully enough charge to survive until I can next record on here. So it doesn't get deleted. Let's start with a rotor so that I can start with a connection to the base. Go to the control panel, rotor. Add small head, rotor lock. So, for this thing, I'm going to need to have hydrogen, I'm going to need to have drills, I'm going to need to have some Atmo thrusters and probably some parachutes, and I'll need to have the survival kit on there as well. Having a couple of drills on the front so that I could at least collect some stone and basics like that would be handy. If you have your own ideas about things I could try next time this happens, let me know, because it could happen again and I am willing to try a bunch of different ideas to see if there is a solution here. I just don't think there is one other than a grid copy-paste, which basically in survival means you have to rebuild the whole grid from scratch, unless you've got the assistance of an admin. So we'll go an O2H2 generator, maybe even two. Nah, just the one. Survival kit. I'll hook up nicely to that. Then I want to have... Then I'll put the extra O2H2 gen on here. I mainly want tanks, but since I'm going to have to refuel in space, I will need to have the ability to generate my own fuel. Can I build tanks yet? I can't. What do I need to get to the tanks? I need to build an O2H2 gen. Okay, easy. I'll just build this one. There we go. Tank. Hydrogen tank. And one. Let's go more of a big rocket shape thing with this. Kind of want to make sure I've got plenty of fuel on board, especially since I think I may have to set up some hydrogen engines. I go with 3 like that and then put a thruster on each bit. Why don't I have hydrogen thrusters? What do I need to build hydrogen thrusters? Oh, I have to build one of the tanks first. Sure. Should probably start grinding this thing down since I don't need it. And I should get batteries onto the new vehicle early so they can get charged up. That's actually what I should focus on right now. Yeah, along the core makes sense. 1. Or maybe 1, 2 on top. And I might also pop a pair underneath. More batteries equals more better. And I just have to hope that this thing doesn't do the same thing before I get off the planet. Oh dear. Oh, that's what I might do. Maybe I'll build a little baby mining ship that's Atmo only off these 2 batteries. Something akin to the old ugly duckling that I built in the first single player series. Just a very simple ship with a single drill. It'll be more efficient than me mining by hand, and it'll mean it'll be cheap enough that I can test and see how broken all of this is. See if changing the owner will fix it for me. So I'm going to grind this down to just the... Well, it'll be the cockpit and the 3 batteries, actually. They're all attached to the cockpit. So at least that saves me having to recharge it soon. My hope would be that if that works, I'll get a mining ship back, and I'll be able to collect other bits and pieces that I need, like ice, for this new ship, without having to do it by hand. So unfortunate, this mining ship had promise. And now it's gone. Alright, if I get rid of that small conveyor tube in the middle there, and instead put a junction in, should then be able to pop a medium cargo container in there. No. What am I doing? I need to check if this thing even works first. So, we need to go thrusters. It's a very lopsided design, but if it can lift off, then we're great. We can keep using it. If it can't lift off, Then I'll transfer it to nobody and see if that works. And if that doesn't work, then we give up on it and I have to build a new ship as a mini miner rather than using this one. And throw away all the charge in those batteries. Okay. Oh, forgot to put gyros on. Whoops. Good job. Great job. It moved though. There must be something in that grid that was just not behaving before. Something which I've somehow fixed by grinding away 95% of it. Okay. We can fly. We can fly fairly normally. Excellent. I wonder which block was causing the problem. I guess something vaguely useful I learned out of that is if you're having that sort of problem, maybe just keep grinding down and testing as you go. Keep your grid functional for as long as you can so that you can keep testing it as you take stuff off, and then at least you don't have to rebuild the whole thing. It's a pretty terrible lesson to have to learn. Just can't think of a better one. Alright, lock to the base. Now I can pop some drills on it. Go and collect some stuff. First thing I'm going to need to do is pop a small connector on here so that I can hook up my new little mining ship and drop a bunch of ice into it so that it can start filling those tanks, because those tanks are going to take a bit of time to fill. I want to start them off as early as possible. I should be able... let's put it on the other end. Just in case I can't get in there. I was about to start saying I should be able to fit the new mining ship in there, but let's not take the chance. So I just started thinking about something that can make you more easily identifiable in a multiplayer circumstance. If you were to, as I've done, drill around where your base is, when someone's searching for another player to attack, to do something to, what they're going to do is fly over an area and use the low LOD, so the low level of detail, models of the voxels. Because the low LODs, you can see the damage to voxels from a long, long way away. So all you'd need to do is fly at a fairly high altitude around a planet. You could even jump around it and just look for those locations. And as soon as you find them, there's a pretty good chance you'll find a player where they are. So if you're going to try and make a secretive base, you really want to avoid messing with the surface voxels in the area where you're hiding it. Which is, you know, quite a challenge. Now, I'm not trying to hide because I kind of want to see what'll happen if someone meets me and see if they're going to be belligerent or if they're going to be friendly and try and be helpful. So I'm just going to play this like I imagine I would have played if I was a new player, which is just doing my own thing. And if someone comes along, then interacting with them at that point. But until then, just kind of playing solo with the possibility of running into real people. We should, in the O2H2 gens, now have ice. I'm going to need to have some cargo space on this vessel so that I can actually bring things with me. And I think I may need to go large. Maybe I'll go that way. I'll put my large up and down. I still will be able to get to the survival kit just. And I'll put another large cargo on this side as well. So I want to get all of the ice, move it across to here from my little miner, then go and grab some iron. Since now... Oh, that's right, dampeners were off. That moment of silence then was me going, no, you've got to be kidding, it's not doing it again. No, that time it was just my stupid. So that's fine. I can handle my own stupidity, usually. When it's game bugs, it's a lot more frustrating. This thing is ugly, but functional. Which is kind of what I'd expect in this scenario. Though I have forgotten to put lights on it, so... I have to rely... Although... Oh no, I've still got one light on it. Sweet. With all the troubles I've had with the mining ship, I probably should have just gone with the piston miner. It would have been faster. Right, should have enough resources now to continue building. Ooh. Maybe I could go a different angle with this design. Something deliberately a bit weird. So what I'm thinking is, why don't I just put a pair of large hydrogen thrusters like that? They're my lifting thrust, and they'll also be my main boost. If I wanted to later, I can put another pair at the back. But for now, I kind of like this idea. No orientation change on takeoff. Probably the slowest part of this whole thing is going to be if I crash, because I forget to put the dampeners back on when I disconnect. But the collecting of all the hydrogen takes a long, long time. I'm also thinking that since I'm going to be heading to Titan after space, I could probably take this mining ship with me if I use a merge block on it and the other small ship. Because then there'll be one grid, which should mean that I won't have any of the subgrid shenanigans with inertial dampeners that'll make my life next to impossible to fly with. But still detachable and usable as a mining ship. The reason I keep turning off the inertial dampeners is because this is attached via that rotor. The thrusters keep trying to lift the whole thing. Obviously that's not going to work, so they just burn a bunch of power that I don't want them to burn. Which is working out pretty well because these batteries are over 75% charged and these ones are all over 50. Looks like someone else is having similar troubles. They're asking whether there's an admin on. The way you can tell that is their rank will have a bunch of stars if they are an admin. So if you're ever on one of these public servers and you're hopeful that you can get someone to fix the grid problems that I was having earlier, or the grid problems that other person is having, you need to check the F3 menu and see the rank, and it should be, I think it needs to be at least 4 stars for admin, if I recall correctly. I could be wrong on that though. Still got plenty of ice on board. I've still got a full cargo container and a half full one. So I don't need to drill more ice just now. What I need to do is figure out what else should be on this ship so that I can get it up to space. I've got power, I've got fuel, I've got thrust in, down, up, forward, backwards, left and right. I need some gyros. I don't actually need anything after the gyros. I was hoping to build a whole much more components down here and take them up to space with me, but I don't think I'm going to have time to do that. Unfortunately, I do have a finite amount of time available to do this recording, and I have to get to space before the end of it. I don't have a choice. If I don't get to space, I suspect I will come back to find that I am very, very dead. In theory, this thing should work as is right now. In practice, I think there are a few more things I should put on it. First, I do need to get the merge blocks for the little ship on there. Alright, tanks. How far have we got to go? 71%, 80%, 79.9. How much ice do I have left? Got still 50,000. Alright, do not need to mine more ice. What can I continue to do while I'm still stuck here? I was thinking of some drills on the front of this so that I could collect stuff from asteroids. But if I've got this strapped to the back with its drill pointing outward, it can actually drill into the asteroid in a very awkward fashion. So I don't need to add that extra weight. I'll be taking all of the components from here and popping them into the ship. But how much iron and things have I got? Got a bit. I should probably produce a few of the components that I can't make with the survival kit. So make the grids, make the steel tubes, that sort of stuff. So if I can collect a bunch of those, then at least most of what I need to build I can do from the survival kit. That's unfortunate because these aren't piped with large pipes. The components, I'm going to have to get them directly from the cargo containers later, which will be a little bit annoying, but there's nothing much I can do about it. It won't be a problem once I get a large grid ship, which will be my aim. So I'm going to start moving everything across now. So I am getting ready to leave. I hope I have enough thrust with my 2 lifting thrusters. I guess I'll find out fairly quickly if that's the case. What I should do is disconnect this from the way it's hooked up. So dampeners on, unlock. Yep. Put the dampeners on. The dampeners are on. It's doing the thing again. I will try and merge block the batteries on just to grab their power, assuming my hydrogen-based ship works at all. That's a pity, because this was wonky and ugly and I liked it. But it's gonna have to go. I wonder if I can soccer these, push these around and get them to merge block as they are. Come on. Get close. There we go. And I have connected that around the side. So I can grind this out without it all falling. There's a small amount of material in the turbines that makes them, I think, worth taking with me. See how I go cargo-wise. If I'm starting to get too heavy, I may just abandon them, and since I can just find any old asteroid and mine some stone to get what they're made of, it's not the biggest loss. But I would like to not waste the time it took me to collect them. I'm tempted to leave one and just see how long it takes before someone finds it and goes, what? Ooh, better idea. I'm going to leave one and leave an LCD on it, explaining what happened here. Alright, hydrogen tanks are full. I might even still have a little bit of ice left. I do have quite a lot of ice left. Well, if I'm too heavy, I will have to ditch some of that ice. I'm glad I used that mining ship while it was working for as long as I did, because the fact that it broke again means that I could have been left with nothing. I suppose I should have to leave behind a mark on every planetary body that I visit. I guess this will be my mark here. There we go. Seems like a decent enough message for now. If someone can think up something clever for me to put on the other planets, let me know. So I may well use it. Alright, thrusters should go on. Merge block should come off here. Got the one underneath, but it's not going to be low enough. Need to lower it a little bit further. In fact, putting it on there might be a better idea. Lowers it a bit, and means that this extra battery pack protects the current battery pack. Okay, thrusters all on and grind off. Well, that's not a good start. Alright then, fine. Grr. Dang it, I don't have enough thrust. It's gonna be the best way to do that. Probably just whacking another few on the front here. I hope I have the parts, because if I don't, I'm in trouble. Because I got rid of the manufacturing facilities. This thing is getting uglier by the second. Aha! Now I have thrust. Okay, it wasn't bugged, I just didn't have adequate thrust. That means I want to very quickly get this merge blocked, and I didn't finish the merge block. You gotta be kidding me. Cool. Merge block done. That should have been done already. Dampeners on. There we go. Time for space. Thrusters. Oops. Should have done this before I disconnected. Down thrust, toggle on off, up thrust, increase thrust override, decrease thrust override. Because I'm so tight on thrust here and I already disconnected and don't really want to land, what I want to do is get up high enough so that when I switch over to the override, I don't have that period of dropping before the overrides are strong enough to push me back upwards again. Once I've gotten enough clearance, I should be able to just use my thrust overrides to nice and gently control things and hopefully get to space before that 78% of fuel runs out. This is going to work, I think. I don't have parachutes, so if it doesn't work, I'm crashing. To space we go. Cue the dramatic music. Cool. Well, despite the bugs and the other problems that I ran into, this hasn't gone too badly. I've got a fair bit of equipment on board this thing, and while everything's on, I've got a day's worth of power. Hopefully I'll be able to shut a lot of things off and increase that dramatically. Because otherwise, this thing's going to be gone before I next get on to record. 127,000 kilos. This is pretty hefty. I wonder, without the side tracking of grids not behaving, could I have done this in under 3 hours? So it's now closing in on 4 since I began. Alright, in space. Let's see how much power we've got. What can I do here? 32.16 kilowatts. So if I turn off my O2H2 gens, how much power do I have now? 11 days. Oh yeah. Got no oxygen, but I've got 11 days worth of power. That is plenty. What if turn off that? Turn off those. 14 days. This is looking good. Can't turn those off. I think they actually require power anyway. Don't want to turn off my survival kit. And that's kind of all I can turn off. I could turn off the connector. Don't know how much power that uses. Yeah, 14 days worth of power. That should be plenty. Plenty, plenty, plenty. So next time, I am going to try and get together enough staff to build a large refinery and start refining some gold if I can find it, which I should be able to on Titan. Find some gold, mine some gold, build up the gold and silver that I need for a med bay and a jump drive, and then I need to put together a small, large grid ship so that I can visit the other planets that are many, many, many kilometers away. I'm on the wrong side of this thing from Titan. That's annoying. A long way to go to get there. So there's all that, and plenty more to come. And I will see you then. Maybe even in-game.